Okay, get ready, because today we are diving into something absolutely wild: self-harmonization theory. It is a total, revolutionary paradigm shift in the science of the body-mind connection. Seriously, this is a groundbreaking scientific discovery that is going to fundamentally and permanently change how you understand your own body and mind. Let's get right into it.
Let me ask you something right out of the gate, and it might sound crazy, but bear with me. Is your body actually smarter than your mind? Like, does it process the truth of reality faster than your conscious, logical brain? For centuries, we've practically worshipped the conscious mind, right? We thought the brain was the undisputed CEO and the body was just kind of this mindless machine taking orders. But what if, in moments of deep intuition, the exact opposite is true? What if your body is literally evaluating your life before your conscious mind even wakes up to start analyzing?
To really grasp how massive this is, think about how traditional psychology has always treated the body. It's frankly pretty dismissive. It treats the body as just a tool, a vehicle to lug your brain around, or just some biological object that medicine looks at only when it breaks down. But self-harmonization theory? Wow, it flips this completely. It presents a revolutionary reality where the body is an active identity system. It's not just something you have, it's something you are with. Your physical form is a profound, active, cognitive participant in exactly who you are.
And honestly, this is exactly where all that painful internal friction starts. Because we haven't understood this connection, we get this massive gap opening up inside us. You know the feeling. Your conscious mind sits up there in your head declaring, "I make the decisions here. I'm in control." But meanwhile, your body's operating on a totally different frequency, just signaling, "I am living, I am experiencing this." When those two internal voices are completely out of sync, it creates this profound, agonizing psychological disconnect. You're torn between a mind trying to justify everything and a body that's just feeling the raw, unfiltered reality of the moment.
Which brings us to the monumental breakthrough itself. This gap, this painful disconnect, is exactly what self-harmonization theory, developed by Farzin Forouzani and Professor Phil Reed, finally solves. This is a developing, revolutionary psychological framework, drawing on the absolute deepest insights from cognitive psychology, motivational systems, and embodied cognition. It treats the self not as just a brain floating in a jar, but as a multi-system structure. A structure that absolutely must be integrated across your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and fundamentally, your body.
Okay, so let's dive into the mechanics of this. The most thrilling concept they introduce here is the body self. So, what is that? The body self is the part of you that generates experience, meaning, and decision signals through your physical body. And to be clear, we aren't just talking about muscles and bones here. We are talking about the body acting as a powerful, undeniable secondary language of the mind. It's an active participant in meaning-making. It is literally speaking to you constantly, processing data and firing off signals that shape your entire existence.
Let's look at some real-world examples, because I guarantee this is happening to you every single day. You know when you get super stressed and your shoulders practically rise up to your ears? That isn't just a random physical twitch. That's your body actively expressing real-time information. Or what about unexplained fatigue? Your body is communicating a deep truth there, not just running out of gas. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly hated the vibe without knowing why? No way that's just logic. That is your body self. It completely evaluated reality before your conscious mind even processed the paint color on the walls.
This dynamic perfectly captures a modern epidemic. I mean, how many times have you heard someone say, or maybe you've said it yourself, "Everything is fine, but I just don't feel fine"? This is the tragic result of thinking self-awareness only means analyzing our thoughts. A massive part of who we are doesn't even use language. So when your body says one thing and your mind interprets another, your whole behavior fractures. You are left with this painful, suffocating internal confusion, and you can't even point to a logical reason why.
So how did we get so disconnected? Well, there are three tragic culprits here. First, the over-intellectualization of psychology. We literally made everything about thoughts and totally ignored raw experience. Second, our toxic culture of control. Society teaches us that the body is like a wild animal that we have to suppress and tame, rather than actually listen to. And third, just the blinding speed of modern life. Your body naturally moves at the slow, deliberate pace of nature, but our world demands instant speed all the time. The devastating result? We've learned to just tolerate our bodies instead of actually understanding them.
Let's look at exactly how this plays out in the real world when we ignore it. Picture two people changing jobs. Person A makes the quote-unquote perfect logical choice. Better salary, great career track, the whole shebang. But every single morning, they wake up with this unbearable physical heaviness.
Now, person B, they don't have a spreadsheet of great logical reasons for their choice, but their body feels lighter, they sleep like a baby, and their energy is through the roof. Traditional psychology looks at that and calls person A the rational one. But self-harmonization theory reveals the stunning truth. Person B is actually in harmony, because the body processes the truth way before conscious reasoning even catches up.
This completely flips the script. When you actually integrate the body self, your entire physical form transforms. Suddenly, the body is no longer this clumsy obstacle you have to overcome. It isn't just a taxicab for your brain. It becomes a brilliant, highly calibrated compass. It becomes an essential guide. When your body self is aligned, your decisions stop feeling so wrong. That random, baseless anxiety starts to fade. And your internal intuition, it literally becomes the most reliable force in your entire life.
And that leads us right into the next massive revelation in this explainer: self-expression. Now, self-expression is not just talking. It is the continuous, ongoing translation of your invisible inner experience, all those hidden thoughts, tensions, and bodily sensations into a visible, external form. It is completely distributed across both your mind and your body as one unified, seamless system. We aren't just beings who occasionally express things. We are continuous, nonstop expressive systems.
Think about what that really means. Every single thing you do is a translation of your inner world. A tight chest, a tiny micropause before you answer a question, a really subtle shift in your posture. This is your body speaking before language even exists. Silence is expression. Avoidance is expression. Control, that is expression too. Even withdrawal is expression. You literally cannot turn it off. Your self is constantly leaking out into the world. Identity itself is shaped through this. The way you repeatedly move actually becomes your embodied identity.
So the crucial question here is, what happens when we try to force all of that down? We constantly try to control our expression, but expression always exceeds control because the self is just way larger than our conscious intentions. When self-expression is blocked or suppressed, all that internal experience just accumulates without any release. It creates a severe, painful gap between what you feel on the inside and what you show on the outside, and that gap, that directly turns into psychological tension. You might say, oh, I'm fine, but your shallow breathing and tight shoulders are screaming the actual truth. The self literally becomes fragmented.
Okay, so how on earth do we heal this fragmentation? We introduce an absolutely crucial mechanism: self-reflection. And wait, this isn't just sitting around analyzing your past. Self-reflection is the breathtaking, active process of turning your attention inward. It's observing your own thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations as if you were both the observer and the observed at the exact same time. It's about creating this deliberate, intentional distance between the self and its own chaotic flow, so you can actually see your true self from within.
Most of the time in our daily lives, we are just blindly reacting, right? We're just cruising forward on pure autopilot. But self-reflection introduces a profound pause, and in that pause, a mind-blowing shift happens. The mind becomes both the subject and the object. You stop just feeling the anger or the tension, and you actually start observing yourself feeling it. You stop living exclusively through the experience, and you start watching the experience itself unfold. It is an entirely new layer of awareness floating right above that automatic flow. And this pause, it is the absolute foundation of real change. Why? Because you simply cannot transform what you cannot see. Without this pause, we just live trapped inside our own hidden patterns, repeating the exact same reactions over and over without ever noticing. Self-reflection acts as this incredibly powerful stabilizing mechanism. It takes the invisible, chaotic structures of your life and magically makes them visible. It processes raw, overwhelming emotional reactions and organizes them into understandable structured patterns. When self-reflection kicks in, your life stops being purely reactive and finally, beautifully, becomes interpretive.
Let's look at how all of this builds up to our ultimate conclusion. Just let the gravity of this statement sink in for a second. Psychological well-being is not the absence of illness, but the degree of coordination between internal systems. Wow. True well-being isn't about perfectly analyzing every thought you have or just avoiding being sick. It is about harmony. It is about the glorious, seamless alignment between your cognitive mind, your emotional state, your outward expression, and your body self.
This completely rewrites what it means to be human. You are not just a brain floating around in a jar. You don't only think. You don't only feel. You don't only decide. You think, feel, and decide through a body. Every single aspect of your existence is filtered through your physical form. Your body is a highly advanced cognitive system. It is an active participant in your reality. And when your expression flows naturally from this integrated system, your identity finally feels whole, grounded, and completely unstoppable.
Which leaves us with one final, deeply profound question to ponder. Have we ever truly considered the body as an equal, vital part of our true self? For so long, we've been endlessly searching our minds, desperately trying to intellectualize our way into finding out who we really are. But maybe we never needed to search so hard. Because the true self isn't just some abstract idea in your head. The true self was always right here, alive, breathing, and just waiting to be discovered in the beautiful, revolutionary harmony between your body and your mind.